Social media and the world around us tells us that in order to be cool and to fit in, all people, including those with the INFJ personality type, need to become social butterflies, we need to have tons of friends, and we need to conform to society. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Here are 7 reasons why our INFJ lives are so much better when we stop trying to fit in. Reason number 1, society's one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work for INFJs. According to research, estimates suggest that as much as 74% of the population is considered extroverted. And by extroverted, I mean that these people gain energy from social interactions and groups. And because society always tends to cater to the majority, it often promotes extroverted behaviors as the ideal. However, INFJs, we're introverts by nature, and we often find peace and strength either in solitude or in fewer, deeper connections. And that means for us INFJs, fitting in can feel like an ongoing struggle because we can see through the shallowness that's being promoted around us. Again, we live in a world that values extroversion, conformity, and surface-level interactions. And us INFJs? Well, we're deep thinkers who crave meaning and authentic connection. Still, sometimes we're tempted to try and mold ourselves to fit into spaces where we really don't feel at home. I can't tell you the times that I've tried to be super social, but I just didn't enjoy being in large groups. But when I got home and put on my comfortable clothes, I felt relaxed and energized. And let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with that. Reason number 2, emotional intelligence is a strength, not a weakness. Have you ever been told that you're overreacting or that you're too sensitive? Very annoying. But if you have been told this, then keep watching because you're really going to relate to this one. It's true that INFJs are highly receptive to the emotional states of others. But what's not talked about enough is that that is a legitimate superpower that most people don't have. INFJs can absorb emotions so well that we can even end up taking on the feelings and mood of another person. And this can be super overwhelming in a world that often values hiding their emotions and going along with the herd. In other words, the people around you who don't have this emotional intelligence may end up telling you that you're being too sensitive or overreacting. They may even tell you that being emotionally connected is a vulnerability or a weakness. But for us INFJs, our high emotional intelligence is actually a powerful tool for understanding others. It helps us make the downtrodden feel understood, and it helps us be able to get people in crisis through traumatic events in their lives. And all INFJs know we are the masters of creating social harmony in groups. And our powerful emotional intelligence can even help us form deep connections with people, at least people with open minds. And this skill is also part of the total package that helps us create positive change in the world. So the people who are saying that you're overreacting or that you're too sensitive, never let those people get in your head. They don't understand your powers and your gifts. Reason number 3, INFJs are not meant to be social butterflies. This one leverages off the first point. While some people thrive in large social settings, us INFJs almost always find these environments draining. Now don't get me wrong, we can do it. After all, they don't call us chameleons for nothing. But it's not our preferred environment. And being forced to fit into a social butterfly role goes against our natural tendencies, and it can cause us to feel isolated, misunderstood, and exhausted. The solution is to realize that no matter what society tells you, being at home with a hot drink and some books, podcasts, or videos is just as noble and worthwhile as being out and about socially. Enjoying being at home alone or hanging out with just a few close friends or family members is just fine. There's nothing wrong with it, and it doesn't make you a loser or a misfit. It's honestly the truest form of freedom and peace for an INFJ. And what psychologists don't often report is that studies show that it's not only social activities that relieve loneliness, but solitary activities also make people feel less lonely. And these activities, they still provide a sense of belonging in the larger sense. I personally love my time at home, and it's time that we speak up and throw out the guilt that society tries to place on those of us who like to recharge in solitude. And always remember, it's much better to be alone than with shallow or inconsiderate people who don't share your values. It's okay to accept that you don't need to be constantly socializing in order to be valuable. Listen to what famous INFJ, Stoic philosopher, and Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said about alone time. There is nowhere that a person can find a more peaceful and trouble-free retreat than in his own mind. If this video is helping you, consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the INFJ Circle. Reason number 4, the media depicts a shallow, unrealistic standard. The media, It often promotes ideals of success, beauty, and happiness that are overly materialistic or shallow. One example of this is that everyone is supposed to have this large group of friends. But as INFJs, we should remember, in reality, those people who seem so social on the outside, if you were to look closer, those people are probably stabbing each other in the back and competing with one another. Most people would rather have the appearance of a large number of friends than to actually have deep, meaningful friendships. In other words, they prefer quantity over quality. I mean, that's really what a whole lot of this social media thing is based on, right? Digital jealousy. But for us INFJs, this shallowness and competitiveness can feel really alienating. And that's because our values are rooted in deeper, more meaningful relationships and pursuits. We value things like personal growth and relationships and contributing to the greater good. We want everyone to be lifted up, not torn down. So remember, as an INFJ, chasing societal standards like large numbers of acquaintances, well, it can make you feel like you're losing touch with your true purpose and your true sense of self. And over time, that comparison can make you feel like you're not good enough, just because your preferences are different from the majority. Theodore Roosevelt said comparison is the thief of joy, and Mark Twain said comparison is the death of joy. Wise words from some great thinkers. Well, I'm here to tell you, your standards of wanting only deep and meaningful friendships are just fine. In fact, they're the right standards. Society has it wrong. Never settle for shallowness or fake friendships to try and fit in. It's a waste of your life. Just keep looking for the authentic few. Reason number 5, the INFJ's unique inner compass is a superpower. INFJs are known for their strong intuition and inner guidance. Trying to conform to societal norms can dull that inner voice, and in reality, it's killing the real you. That intuitive inner voice is one of the main things that makes you special and unique as an INFJ. And this intuitive ability is a skill that most of society simply does not have. And this skill means that INFJs have the ability to move society forward and to think of new ideas. And the great thing about INFJs is that they are willing to take action and to implement those ideas. And that's because INFJs typically score high on open-mindedness. And that means we're open to improvement and positive change. Most other types only have the ability and desire to follow traditions handed down to them from the past. They can't imagine changing or improving things. It scares them to death. That's why many INFJs have a tough time in the traditional workplace. Their bosses often see them as a threat because they come up with new and innovative ways to do things. But all the boss wants to do is go with the flow, even if there's a better way to do things. The answer here is actually not trying to conform, but rather to keep being you, to find a place where you're accepted for your strengths. INFJs that can find a workplace or a small social group that accepts them, these are the happiest INFJs. That's because one thing's for sure. Following your own path and being accepted for who you are is the only way you can find genuine happiness and fulfillment as an INFJ. INFJs are not going to be happy with oppressive bosses, and we're not going to be happy with fake friends. Reason number 6, INFJs have a unique role to play in the world. To expand upon our last point, INFJs often have a strong desire to make a difference in the world and to contribute in meaningful ways. So if you're an INFJ and you have this strong desire to make an impact on the world and to make it a better place, that's actually completely normal. And the reason you feel this calling is because you are really, genuinely capable of world-changing ideas. I'm not trying to give you the big head, but it's true. And I want to emphasize right now just how rare that is. All of those people out there that you see that look like they're fitting in, those people generally, they don't have the ability to innovate. They don't have the ability to come up with new ways to do things like you do. They're playing a non-threatening role in the world, never making waves, and never innovating or moving the world forward. Indeed, you have a very unique role to play in the world. It's a really challenging role, but a very special one. Reason number 7, true INFJ connections are based on authenticity. When you stop trying to meet the expectations of society and instead you focus on building relationships that are genuine, you free up energy you can then put into the people and things that you do love and you do care about. In the past, I've spent so much energy trying to fit in with groups that didn't like the authentic me. They didn't like the real me. And to be honest, I didn't really like them either. Personally, I've found it's far better to conserve and concentrate my energy on self-care and those select few people who really appreciate the genuine me. Subtracting toxic people from your life is one of the best ways to improve it. Here's a bonus. You have the freedom to redefine success. Success in life for us INFJs is often about living authentically and in alignment with our values. It's not really about status, wealth, or popularity. Society may define success in external terms, but for you, real success is going to come from inner peace, purpose, and contributing to the welfare of others and the world at large. So consider letting go of society's definition of success and carving out your own definition. You can choose the path you've always known was right, true, and best for you, because that's where the true freedom and peace is for us INFJs. In this video, we've talked a bit about how INFJs actually scare people who are afraid of new ideas. But if you'd like to know exactly why us INFJs are so intimidating to other types, watch this video next.